My name is Steve Liebman. I'm the ambassador for the Get the Life You Love campaign, and I'm your MC. My name is Steve Liebman. I'm the ambassador for the Get the Life You Love campaign, and I'm your MC for the next couple of hours. And I thought I might begin, if you'll indulge me, in introducing myself, because some of you here may know who I am. I suspect a lot of you, looking around the room and getting a gauge of the age, probably have no idea. And the other reason I thought I'd introduce myself is because as I was coming through the airport last night and had collected my bags, and I was just going out to pick up a lift to the university, this young woman ran up to me and said, "I know who you are." And I thought, when you work in a business like the one I work in, that's very good for the ego. And then she said, "You used to be Steve Liebman. You're that guy that used to do the breakfast show on Channel 9. And she's right. Last time I looked, I still am Steve Liebman. And I don't do the breakfast show on Channel 9 anymore, but some of you might know me from the work I do for the Foxtel pay TV organisation. But the truth is, for something like 22 years, we're talking about jobs and career opportunities today, for 22 years I used to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, Monday to Friday, and head out to the Channel 9 studios in Sydney, and I did the Today program for 22 years. It's a career that I've been a journalist and a broadcaster for almost 50 years now. I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but almost 50 years. And it's a career that's taken me really around the world and has seen me in a position to interview presidents, prime ministers, princes, princesses. Sometimes that was a little confused, but nevertheless. And some of the biggest names in sport and entertainment. And also to be able to report on wars and other crises near and far. Now, the truth is, having said all of that, however, that my professional career is drawing to a close. Yours is just beginning. My journey has been an amazing one. It began in a little New South Wales country town at the foot of the Snowy Mountains, a town called Cooma. And the education system has changed since I went through secondary school, but I guess in spite of the time lapse, I and you, we have something in common. As I was coming towards the end of my secondary education, I started thinking about, what am I going to do? What sort of a job will I be able to get? And I guess the same sort of thoughts are going through your mind. I was very fortunate because even before I finished secondary school, I fell in to a career in broadcasting. And I was even more fortunate because having had great teachers at high school, I was also in a position where I had great teachers and mentors as I began a career initially in radio and then moved into television in country New South Wales, regional New South Wales, and then in the late 60s I moved to Sydney. And that's where I've been ever since, as a broadcaster, commentator on radio and television. But as I said, my professional career is drawing to a close. Yours is really starting to begin. And that's why I think, and the people behind this forum today, that's why we think this forum is important. And we hope that over the next couple of hours, you'll be inspired to follow your dreams and your ambitions, to be in a position where you'll be able to better manage your lives, to learn new skills and to develop new talents, or nurture the talents that you already know you have, that you'll be better equipped to change and to know who to turn to for guidance and advice. You're going to hear today, over the next couple of hours, some truly remarkable stories from truly remarkable people. People who as you'll hear, as they tell you their stories, they've had to make their own choices. They've had to refine their skills. They've had to broaden their knowledge to get the life that they love. So sit back, relax, and listen to what it is and the stories you're going to hear in the course of the next couple of hours.
They were, if I can paraphrase them, firstly, have the courage and the conviction to follow your own heart and your own intuition. Life is to be lived. Time is limited, so don't waste it by living someone else's life. And he said, which I think is a really nice observation, being the richest man in the cemetery doesn't matter to me. Going to bed at night saying that we've done something wonderful today does. Part of today's exercise, I guess, will be helping you to think about what you're going to do with your working life, of finding a career, a job that really gives you some satisfaction. Remember that anything you do will have its ups and downs, its light and shade. But if you can say about what you do that every day you look forward to getting up and going to do it, then you've done very well. I hope that today's presenters help to fire your imagination and inspire you about what you might do with your life.
Now I'd like to introduce to you the first of our guest speakers today. Now I should tell you that all of our guest speakers have been asked to talk about their own personal experience and the journeys they've made as they've moved forward in the careers that they've chosen. And as I said to you, all three speakers have a remarkable story to tell, and a remarkable journey will unfold in the course of that storytelling. Our first speaker this morning is the winner of the 2011 women's category of Coolangatta Gold. She is the National Ironwoman Champion for 2011. She is the series title holder for 2011. In fact, she is currently ranked the #1 Ironwoman in Australia, and she also has become the first person, male or female, incidentally, to win the Triple Crown of elite events in the history of Australian sports. Would you please welcome Courtney Hancock.
Thank you, Steve. Okay. The clock ticks over. Beep, beep, beep. It's 4:30 and it's time to get up for swimming training. I slowly open my eyes, then rip off my doona. Wow, it's definitely going to be a chilly morning. I pick out my swimmers. If I'm extra tired, I'll wear my hot pink ones. 2 pieces of thick fruit toast, beanie, gloves, trackies, hoodie, knee-high Uggies, and I'm out the door. I pump up the music, hoping for a good song. You see some interesting sights early in the morning, the early crazy morning walkers, and the people doing the walk of shame from Surfers Paradise. I get to the pool, slowly take off my layers, and jump in. The first lap is always the hardest and the coldest. So why do I do it? Because I love what I do. I'm Courtney Hancock, and I'm a professional Ironwoman. And it's what I've wanted to do ever since I first jumped in the water at the beach. I joined Nippers when I turned 5, and my best memories are playing games and wading in the waves. Then as I got older, I learnt how to paddle a board and body surf. I have 3 sisters, and we were all lucky enough to grow up on the beach in Sawtell in northern New South Wales. So we were surfing and mucking around the water all the time. I really loved it the most part when the waves were up. I also remember watching the Ironman and Ironwoman on TV with my family and cheering on our favourites. Carla Gilbert was my favourite and continues to be my role model even today. Since I have moved to the Gold Coast, I've become good friends with Carla, and her support, guidance and friendship has helped me deal with the pressures that I go through. I love the water and I love the competition, so it was natural for me to dream about becoming an elite Ironwoman. I did do pretty well in the age group competition at the Australian titles, winning the under-16 and under-17 Ironwoman. But I knew if I wanted to take my training and racing to the next level, I knew I had to move to the Gold Coast to be with the good athletes. So I left my family, packed my bags, and moved to the Gold Coast when I was 18. I joined the Northcliffe Surf Club. I had some unusual experiences when I first moved to the Gold Coast. I lived in a garage before there was a room left in the clubhouse. I was given a V8 Toyota Land Cruiser to drive around in when I only had my licence for a couple of weeks. I never filled up a car with petrol before, and realising that $15 really doesn't go a long way in a Land Cruiser. I worked in one of the busiest hotels in Southport. I didn't drink and I had no idea what I was doing. I only lasted there for a couple of weeks, and probably a story about that, someone asked for lemon, lime and bitters, so I got a lemon and a lime. I crushed it up, put it into the glass, filled it with lemonade, served it to the customer, and I just couldn't figure out why they were looking at me so strangely. It was tough going at the start, but things slowly fell into place for me. The training was really challenging up here, but I really enjoyed it as well. When my youngest sister, Bonnie, finished high school and decided to take a course up at Griffith Uni, the whole family then made the decision to move from Sawtell and rent a house on the Gold Coast. When my family joined me, it made such a difference to my life. I had family around me, and it gave me so much more confidence to deal with the things that I was going through. My training also improved because I was able to then again train with my sisters, and Dad helped me out with things like technique and fitness. I am a professional Ironwoman and live off what I make through winnings and sponsorship. I'm very happy with what I'm doing. I do live comfortably. I don't have to live in a garage, I own my own car, and I don't have to have a second and third job to make ends meet. Training is really hard, but I always make sure I have a net nap through the day to keep me going. Each week, my training schedule is 4 swimming sessions, 3 running, 2 gym, 2 board sessions, 2 ski sessions, and 3 Ironwoman sessions every week. I have Saturday and Sundays off, and boy do I enjoy that rest. When I am full-time training, I do watch what I eat, and I don't drink any alcohol, and I don't have any late nights. It is really hard, but I know what I have to do. I know what I have to do to make these sacrifices if I want to be successful. And with my sport, being at the beach, where can you go wrong with that? One of my favourite quotes is, "If you do today what others are doing today, then you will be successful. But if you do today what others are doing tomorrow, then you will be a winner." However, once the racing is over, I do like to have a dance and enjoy the company of my friends. Although after the Coolangatta Gold last week, I have to admit I did enjoy myself a little bit too much. I've also completed a TAFE course in Diploma of Beauty Therapy. I think I chose this because I love helping out others to help them look and feel great about themselves, and also gives me something to do when I've finished up my career in Ironwoman racing. In the last 6 months, I've won the Professional Ironwoman Series, the Ironwoman at the Australian titles, and the Coolangatta Gold. These are all the things I dreamt about doing as a nipper growing up. I knew from a young age what I wanted to do. I knew I had to leave home and move to the Gold Coast if I wanted to fulfil these dreams. Despite some very hard times, I never gave up believing in myself, nor did I give up believing in my dreams. Not only did I make a lot of sacrifices, but so did my family, and I appreciate so much what they've done for me and their support. So I think the biggest lesson I have learned is it doesn't matter who you are, where you have come from, or your background, you can achieve the unbelievable if you put your mind and body 100% into it. Thank you, and good luck to all of you.
Now, one thing, you folk are young people, are at the beginning of your careers, and you're already making career choices, or you're about to. Our next guest speaker, in one sense, is at the end of what has been a long and illustrious career in the field of sport, and so he is again at a crossroads, considering the options that are open for him and the directions he's going to take. He retired as a professional rugby league player this year and is now casting his mind to the future, as you are doing, as we all have to do, sometimes several times in the span of a professional career. He was the Dally M Player of the Year in Rugby League in 2001. He played with the Premiership-winning Penrith Panthers Rugby League team in 2003. 2008 Titans Player of the Year. He was the 2008 Stephen Medal by the NRL at the One Community Awards for his tireless work with Indigenous communities. He has played, in fact, for the Gold Coast Chargers, New South Wales Country and Indigenous Dreamtime Rugby League team. He's played with the Cronulla Sharks, the Penrith Panthers, and he's finished his professional rugby league career here on the coast, playing with the Gold Coast Titans. Would you please welcome Preston Campbell. And Preston and I, for the next couple of minutes, are going to have a chat. Would you like a hand microphone? Do you like to wander around the stage as you talk? Yeah. Why don't we set one up for you? And maybe, whilst they're just giving you the mic, we should start, I don't want to say at the end, because in a sense, I remember, in fact, when I left the Today Show after 20 plus years, somebody said to me, it's not the beginning of the end, it's really the end of the beginning. And in a sense, that's where you're at now, aren't you? Your professional rugby league career finished this year, and it's not the beginning of the end, but it's the end of the beginning of something new.
Yes. You almost confused me there, Steve. But no, you are right. It's kind of a limbo stage for me at the moment. With rugby league, obviously, we can sign a contract, for up to 4 or 5 years, as long as the club allows you to. So I lived my life probably 3 years at a time. So I knew I was secure for those 3 years, and I knew that if I was able to compete, if I was able to train hard, and my attitude was right, that my career would go on. And
okay, let's go back to the beginning. Okay. Having got to this stage, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Tingha. It's northwest in New South Wales. So I'm a New South Welshman, like Courtney. It's only a small town. When I grew up there was like 800 people. I'm not sure how many there now. So yeah, it's only a one-horse town, and I was actually born in Inverell, which is a 15-minute drive from there because there's no hospital in Tingha. And I grew up, I was there until I was 19.
When did you start playing rugby league?
I played rugby league a little, as we do, as a young guy. I had my heroes.
Who were they, incidentally?
Well, my heroes were my uncles and my dad. I went to the local footy oval and watched them play on the weekends, and I just thought they were the greatest. But the bloke that I loved to watch on the big screen was Phil Blake. When he played with the Rabbitohs, Phil Blake was a player that I tried to emulate, but couldn't do so. I just thought he was great. He was one of those guys that he epitomised what it was to enjoy rugby league.
So when did you decide that you wanted to be a professional rugby league player?
It's funny because even when I was playing for the Chargers, I didn't know whether I wanted to be a professional rugby league player. It was something that I kind of just fell into. And when I say that, I trained and I did everything right to get a start with the Chargers, but it's not what I wanted to do. I never wanted to be a professional rugby league player.
So it just happened?
It just happened. I was lucky. I got the opportunity, but then again, like I said, I did all the hard work to be able to get there.
Because that's the interesting thing, isn't it? I mean, a lot of people look at their role models and say, oh, gee, they're lucky. And luck does play a part in life, but and quite often luck will produce a break, a lucky break. Yes. But when you get that break, you've got to be able to deliver, haven't you? You've got to be able to produce.
Well, yeah, you're right. Opportunities, they come up every day, basically, and you just don't know when they're going to come up. They could be just around the corner. You could have just went by one. And if you're prepared and the opportunity's there, and you do get an opportunity, well, you're going to do well.
What motivated you in the early stages of your career? I mean, was it money? Was it a desire to be the best?
Yep. Well, when I was younger, I always wanted to be a police officer because I wanted to help people in my community. But my motivation to become a rugby league player, it was something that it happened so quick, you know, and I kind of don't like to talk about it, but I do because it's a big part of who I am. I just left school. My school girlfriend, high school girlfriend, fell pregnant. She was still in school, so I just turned 19 and I had a baby girl, and that was really my motivations.
Choices. How important have choices been through your life so far, and are they likely to be from here on in?
Very, very, very important. Courtney talked about it before, you know, she said she had to make sacrifices, and there's a young bloke named Ryan James who's playing with us at the moment. He doesn't like to call them sacrifices, he likes to call them good choices, I guess. And I've had to make plenty of those in the past. As you said before, I've played with, oh geez, I can't even remember now, four different clubs in the NRL. So basically, I've had to make 4 really big choices in my life to be able to get to where I am now. And it hasn't been easy.
No, but would you agree you're a better person for having made those choices?
Definitely. And looking back, I think they were the right choices now.
All right. Now, as I've said a couple of times, these young adults here today are in the process of making choices. If you could give them one piece of advice based on your life, your experiences, well, one piece, what would it be?
Yeah, we spoke about it. It's really just being prepared, I guess. As I said, there's opportunities everywhere. And I guess I wanted to be a police officer to help people, but the way things went, I had to make a choice and do something different, you know. And it's something I've loved doing. And at the end of the day, now that I'm finished after 14 years in NRL, along with this Learn and Legend initiative, I am helping people in a different way, I guess. So I've been able to, I guess, realise my dream of helping people. So if you're going to take anything from the day, just know that you have to be prepared, and maybe you won't get what you want at first, but if you keep trying, you'll get there at the end of the day.
He's not just a great Australian sportsman, he's a great Australian. Would you thank Preston Campbell? Thanks, Gus.